Hello there and welcome to my Money Glitch Road to Glory episode 14. I really hope you enjoyed this video and let's do this. So this is the start of a new season and this is the start of us being in the Premier League, which is absolutely awesome. The board have only given us 1.4 million and a £7,000 wage budget, which obviously isn't brilliant, but we agreed to sell Jamal to Arsenal for 5 million to try and create some capital for us to bring some players in. He does then go and sell, and the board allocated us 4.2 million of that to our transfer budget, giving us a total of just over 8 million to spend. Before we can bring anyone in though, we've got the Community Shield against Chelsea, which we are in because we won the FA Cup last season. And this is the team that's going to be playing in it. Obviously, with us having sold Jamal, we don't have another centre-back, so Zelelem's playing there at the minute. And Scuffit's also injured, so James is having to play in goal. Unfortunately, my Elgato didn't capture this game for some reason, but this is the only bit we were able to recover from it, which is us taking the lead in the game, playing Zivkovic through, who smashes one into the far left corner with his right. It was a pretty nice goal. But that game did go on to end 3-2. It was an absolutely awesome game, so I'm really sorry that the recording corrupted. But like I said, there's nothing I can do about that, but we did win 3-2, which was just awesome. The first player we decided to bring in is this guy. He's someone that you guys really wanted me to sign last season, but we didn't have the money. And we are going to bring him in, but we're going to use the free play glitch for this guy, as he does cost around 15 million, which we just don't have the money for. So like you see there, it's costing us a 30k wage. This isn't too bad, but we do go ahead and accept him. He does then slot into the team quite nicely, and I think he's going to be playing as a central attacking midfielder for us. Norwich City are our first game in the Prem, and we do sim this game as they came up with us, and we draw that one 1-1, which isn't too bad of a start. And then we have Spurs away as well, so we will be going to White Hart Lane. And they go ahead and make a pretty poor start, getting Aaron Lennon sent off with only 20 minutes played for this dirty challenge, which you would have thought gave us an advantage with 70 minutes left to play. It didn't seem to help too much though, as Spurs just continue to attack, with this one beating the keeper and just coming off the crossbar. After half time we continue to push, with the ball out wide here we get it out to Talisman, who has a shot from just outside the box but it's just past the post, but it was pretty close in the end. We do eventually get the ball in the back of the net when Gnabry gets it through to Halovic and finds Berahino, whose shot is stopped by Vorm and only palmed out into Zuma's feet, who for some reason is playing as a centre forward, but unfortunately it was given offside. And that ends the game 0-0, so unfortunately even though they did lose a man, we weren't able to take advantage of that. West Ham are our next opponents in the league, and with 2 draws so far, we'd love to try and get a win. And that's exactly what we tried to do from the start, with Zivkovic coming through. He's able to cut in and then with a left-footed finesse finds the back of the net, giving us a 1-0 lead with only about 30 minutes played. West Ham almost even things up from this set piece, with Valencia getting his head on it, but it's just past the post, which is lucky because the keeper was beaten. We do eventually make it 2-0 when Talisman gets it to Chalobah, who finds Ibe in a lot of space on the left, who's able to bring it onto his right foot and finesses it into the far right hand corner, making it 2-0 with only about 6 minutes left in the game. We can't throw it away from here. It looks like we're going to go on and win our first game in the Premier League. West Ham don't give up though, they do still come at us, whipping this ball in from across, and they do get one back with this header from Noble. And he celebrates as if he's actually gone and won the game for West Ham. I'm not really sure whether I'd be running up the whole pitch if I just scored a consolation goal near the end of the game. And it was just that, with us winning the game 2-1, so that is our first win in the Premier League, which is pretty decent. We then signed 2 more players that you guys suggested. First, Emir for a 40k wage, and he was also using the free play glitch, along with Adon Januzaj for 60k wage this time, and he was also using the free play glitch. So that's 3 players we've used the free play glitch on now, and we won't be using any more. And the reason we did use the free play glitch on them is because their wages were so high that it's only left us with 1.5 million out of 8, so we spent quite a lot of money on their wages. We do then remember that we haven't actually used our money glitch from last season, and we've still got Duggan at the club with 107k wage there, so we are going to rectify that by selling him and getting back what I think is about 5 to 6 million in his wage. We do that by signing Jamal Blackman from Chelsea, who we had on loan last season, and if you've seen the deal there, we're buying him for 620k along with Duggan, so we'll be getting Duggan's wage back at the same time. We do get his wage back, and after buying Blackmail, we're left with 6.5 million. So we've got a bit more money to go out and sign a few more squad players. The first is Amati. We decided to sign him because one, you guys really wanted us to, and he only cost us 15k in wages and £1 million, which isn't bad for a player of his quality. Next up is Darlington Nagbe, who's a right midfielder from the American League. I'd never actually heard of this guy until he was suggested for me, but I was able to get him relatively cheap for 1.4 million and a 35k wage budget, which is a bit steep, but I think he'll be a good player. We then sell Kane Ferdinand for 270k, and that concludes all of our transfer window business. If you see there, we've made a profit of 5.2 million and we spent 3 million. But obviously that's not including the money we would have spent using the free player glitch, but we've brought in a lot of good signings. So this is how the team now shapes up after all these signings have been added to it. First we have Emir Khan at centre back, 75 rated. And then we have Halovic as our central attacking midfield player, 78 rated, and he is now, I think, the second best rated player at the club, just behind Zuma. Yanazai also gets into the starting lineup at left midfield with a 77 rating, and obviously we know a lot about him. Strengthening our bench then, first off is Jamal Blackman as our reserve goalkeeper, along with Armati, who's a 72 rated midfielder. And also Ganagbe, a 73 rated right midfielder, and here's our pace machine on the bench ready to come on and abuse some tired defenders later on in the games. After all this business was finished, we had about 1.7 million left, so not too much in the way to go out and buy any more quality players to improve our squad. Man City are going to be the first opponents to face our newly built team, and we'll see how they get on. And then from this corner, Man City come extremely close with Milner whipping it in, and I'm not really sure who gets their head on this, but our keeper's out of the game and we're just able to clear it on the line, which thankfully goal line technology is able to show us that it is no goal, as I think we needed showing twice, but it was actually relatively close now that we look back at it, so we probably got away with one there. Chalobah is then able to get the ball out to Yanazai, whose pace absolutely destroys Sanya, who falls on his ass, but unfortunately Yanazai is not able to get it into the back of the net. Man City then rank up the pressure, crossing one in. He misses it and it falls to Nasri, who controls it and then is able to smash it home from close range, giving them a 1-0 lead. And unfortunately that is how the game ends, so we did lose 1-0 to Manchester City, but that's not really a result we can't say we were expecting, as obviously Man City are one of the best teams in the Prem. Up next is Shamrock Rovers in the Europa League, and we didn't actually know that we were in this, but I guess that's because we won the FA Cup last season. And we made the decision to sim it, and it does end 0-0, which isn't the worst result, but obviously we could have done with a win to give us 3 points in the group. And unfortunately that game does bring this episode to an end. But before you go, I'm just going to talk about the philosophy that we're going to use to approach this season. So we've got the two different formations. We've got the one that we were using mainly last season, which is the 4-4-2. So obviously that's 4 defenders, 4 midfielders with a holding and an attacking midfielder, and then the 2 strikers up top. But for when we play the bigger and better teams, we're going to be playing this 4-5-1 formation. So only 1 striker and then with 2 holding midfielders and an attacking one. This should hopefully allow us to counter-attack when we're playing the 4-5-1 and dominate the weaker teams when we're playing the 2 strikers up top. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you like all the players that I've signed and added to the team. Comment below any of your thoughts on any of those and any more players that you want me to sign in the future. And if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you do give it a big thumbs up, as it really does help me out. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, to make sure you never miss a video. And also, I have recently created a Facebook page, so make sure you go and like that, as I will be using that in future as a place for you to suggest players for me to buy in this series. So thank you again for watching, and I will catch you at the next video. Bye.